Okay, so you're getting ready for a customer service representative interview,
Yeah.
and you want to really nail it. Well, that's exactly what this deep dive is for. We're going to be using some awesome insights from RoleCatcher to break down common interview questions, give you some killer approaches to answering them, and even touch on how they're using AI to give you a real edge. Think of this as your own personal prep session.
And we're going to get into those questions, but first I think it's important to step back for a second
Hmm.
and really get a sense of the bigger picture here. RoleCatcher's Career Guide really emphasizes that this role is about so much more than just answering calls. You're the face of a company. You're managing customer relationships. And you're even using data to try and improve the whole customer experience.
Yeah, it really is a lot more than maybe people think at first. It's like you're a detective and a problem solver
Hmm.
and a brand ambassador all at the same time. And no wonder RoleCatcher says this field is absolutely booming, especially with the growth of e-commerce. So you're stepping into a role with some real potential.
Absolutely. Now let's get down to it. One of the first questions you're likely to get is describe your customer service experience. It's a classic. But there's a real art to answering this one well. What do you think is really key here?
I think it's all about showcasing your skills and your experiences, but in a way that really clicks with what the company's looking for. So it's not just about listing off a bunch of jobs you've had. It's more about painting a picture of what you can do.
Exactly. And that's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. You see, their system can actually analyze job descriptions, and then it can help you tailor your answer to really highlight the experience that's most relevant for that specific role. It's like having a personal stylist
Yeah.
for your resume, making sure that you're showing your absolute best.
Wow, that's really smart. So you're not just giving them some generic answer. You're showing them that you get it, that you really have what they need.
Exactly. Now, another one that often pops up is, how do you handle difficult customers? This one can be tricky, but it's a real chance to shine. How would you approach this one?
I think it's so important to show empathy, to really acknowledge the customer's frustration, but then shift the focus to finding a solution. And maybe even share a specific example of a time you successfully de-escalated a situation.
Spot on. And you can really use something called the STAR method to structure your answer. That's situation, task, action, result.
Hmm.
RoleCatcher really emphasizes this approach, and their AI can actually analyze your practice responses and give you feedback on things like your tone and your clarity. It's like having a coach right there in your corner.
That's really amazing. So you're not just practicing in the dark, you're actually getting really targeted feedback to help you refine how you come across.
Exactly. Now let's try another common one. How do you prioritize tasks when you're juggling multiple customers? This is where those organizational skills come in, and your ability to stay calm when things get a little crazy.
I imagine it's about showing that you can be efficient. You know that you can assess urgency and
Hmm.
keep things moving smoothly, even when it feels like a million things are happening at once.
Exactly. Definitely mention techniques. Just maybe using a ticketing system,
Wow.
prioritizing by deadlines or how much something impacts the customer, and being really clear with customers about how long they might have to wait.
Right, and if you've used any specific software or systems for managing all those tasks, definitely highlight that experience. It shows you're comfortable with the tools of the trade.
Absolutely. Now, here's one that really digs into how much initiative you have. How do you stay up to date on product knowledge and company policies?
Well, this is where you show them you're a lifelong learner. You mentioned company training programs, online resources, maybe even industry publications or blogs you follow.
Excellent. And if the company has their own specific resources or platforms for sharing knowledge internally, definitely mention those. It shows you've done your research and you're eager to learn their way of doing things.
All right, let's move on to one where you can really showcase your dedication. Tell me about a time you went above and beyond for a customer. What makes a story really stand out for this question?
Choose an experience that shows off your problem-solving skills and your empathy and how you're committed to going above and beyond just meeting expectations. RoleCatcher's career guides actually suggest focusing on situations where you took initiative, maybe collaborated with others, or found a creative way to solve a tricky problem.
So it's not just about doing your job, it's about going that extra mile
Hmm,
and leaving a positive impression that lasts.
exactly. Now here's one that can trip people up sometimes. How do you handle a customer who's unhappy with the company's policies or procedures? What's the key here?
Well, I think it's about balancing empathy for the customer with the need to uphold company guidelines. So it's about being clear and respectful, even when you're delivering news they might not want to hear.
You're absolutely right. It's about finding that sweet spot between being an advocate for the customer and representing the company's interests. And sometimes that means escalating things to a supervisor or offering alternative solutions that work within the company's rules.
So it's kind of like being a diplomat, trying to find common ground and navigating these potentially sensitive situations with grace.
Precisely. And speaking of navigating those sensitive situations, let's talk about one that might seem a little unexpected. Can you describe a time you had to deal with a difficult or upset coworker?
Oh yeah, this one might feel like it's off topic, but it's really about showing your interpersonal skills and how you handle conflict,
Right,
right?
exactly. Even if it's not directly about customers, it tells them a lot about how you work on a team.
So using that STAR method again, you describe the situation, the task at hand, what you did to address the conflict, and then the positive outcome.
Spot on. And make sure you highlight how you communicate, your professionalism, and that you're committed to finding a resolution. That's good for the whole team.
It's all about showing you can handle those interpersonal challenges with maturity and grace. Okay, let's wrap up this section with a question that really tests your dedication to making those customers happy. How do you handle a situation where a customer is unhappy with how the company responded to their issue?
This is your chance to shine, to show them you're a true customer advocate, show them you're willing to go above and beyond, to really investigate the issue further, maybe collaborate with other teams if you need to, and follow up with the customer to make sure their concerns are really addressed.
It's about demonstrating that you're committed to finding a solution, even when the first try didn't quite hit the mark. And it goes back to those key skills RoleCatcher talks about, active listening, critical thinking, and that all-important service orientation.
Absolutely. You want them to walk away thinking that you're not just there to follow a script, you're there to actually make a difference in the customer's experience. Now, before we move on, I want to really emphasize how valuable RoleCatcher's AI can be. It can analyze your practice answers, give you feedback on how you're delivering them, and even suggest how to tailor those answers for specific roles.
It's like having a personal interview coach right there on your computer. So you're not just preparing in a vacuum. You're getting real support to help you really stand out.
Exactly. Now I think we should take a little break and then come back for part 2. We'll dig into career growth and how RoleCatcher can help you navigate all those exciting possibilities. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I feel like we covered a ton, breaking down those common interview questions and seeing how RoleCatcher's AI can really help you craft some amazing answers. But now I think it's time to look beyond the interview, at the big picture of your customer service career.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about all the different possibilities. What kind of career paths can really open up in this field?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher's career stage overviews are so helpful. They really paint a picture of that journey, starting from entry-level roles and going all the way up to leadership positions and even getting into specialized areas. Within customer service,
So it's not like you're stuck in one lane. There's options to move up,
to specialize.
to really tailor your path to what you're good at and what you enjoy.
Exactly. So, for example, you might start out as a customer service rep in a call center, handling all sorts of different inquiries.
And then as you gain experience and knowledge, you can move to a more specialized role, like maybe technical support for a specific product line, or focusing on customer retention, or those loyalty programs that everyone loves.
Right. Or maybe you find out you love training and development, and that could lead to being a team lead or even a customer service trainer. There's so many possibilities.
RoleCatcher even mentions that in those leadership roles. You're often mentoring new hires, developing those training programs, and really shaping the customer service strategy for the whole company.
And then at the managerial level, you're not just solving individual customer issues anymore. You're thinking bigger picture, analyzing trends and coming up with policies to really improve the overall customer experience.
It's amazing to see how those skills that you build in those early roles can turn into leadership opportunities later on.
For sure. And it's not just about moving up within a company. You could also take your customer service skills and go into other fields, like sales,
Right.
marketing, or even customer success management.
Right. I can see how those skills would be super valuable across all kinds of different departments. RoleCatcher even says that customer service experience can often be a stepping stone to roles like account management, where you're building those relationships with key clients.
Exactly. It's all about seeing those skills you're developing and recognizing that they can open doors. to all sorts of new and exciting opportunities.
And speaking of opening doors, there's this feature on RoleCatcher that I thought was really cool. It's called Get Discovered. What is that all about?
Oh, that's where things get interesting. If you opt in, it means that registered employers can actually search for candidates based on their skills and experience. It's like having a spotlight on your profile.
So you're not just sending out your resume
Yeah.
and hoping for the best. You're putting yourself out there
Hmm.
and increasing your chances of being seen
Yeah,
by the companies that are the right fit.
exactly. It's a proactive approach to job hunting, which I think really aligns with what it takes to be successful in customer service. You're not waiting for things to happen, you're making them happen.
I love that. Now, I think it's important to talk about staying updated. You know, the world of customer service is constantly changing. There's new technologies, new trends, new best practices. How can you make sure you stay ahead of the curve?
RoleCatcher really stresses the importance of continuous learning. They suggest looking for training programs, going to industry events, even just staying informed through online resources and publications.
They also recommend joining profession associations, like the International Customer Services Association, or ICSA. You can connect with other people in the field, get access to all sorts of resources, and stay up to date on the latest trends.
It's a good reminder that you're never really done learning. It's an ongoing process, and it's essential for staying competitive and adaptable.
And it's not just about formal training either. You can learn so much from your colleagues, from mentors, even just from watching how other companies do things.
Absolutely. It's about being curious, asking questions, and always looking for ways to get better.
And let's not forget about networking. Building those relationships with other people in your field can open up all sorts of opportunities. It can give you valuable insights and even offer support and mentorship along the way.
RoleCatcher encourages people to go to industry events, join online forums, even connect with people on platforms like LinkedIn. It's about building a community, sharing knowledge, and expanding your horizons.
It's amazing to think about all the connections and the collaborations that can come from just reaching out and engaging with others. Now, as you move forward in your customer service career, you're going to face challenges and rewards. How can you navigate those ups and downs?
That's a great question. RoleCatcher talks about how important it is to have a positive mindset and focus on those rewarding parts of the job. So celebrate those wins, whether it's solving a tricky customer issue, getting positive feedback, or just knowing that you made a difference for someone.
It's about finding those moments of fulfillment that keep you going and remind you why you chose this path.
Exactly. And it's just as important to have healthy ways to deal with those tough days, whether it's taking a few minutes to breathe, talking to a supportive coworker, or doing things that help you de-stress. You need to find what works for you.
RoleCatcher reminds us that self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity, especially when you're constantly interacting with people and managing their expectations.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about technology. It's becoming so important in customer service. RoleCatcher mentions CRM software. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fascinating to see how technology is changing the way we interact with customers. CRM systems can be so valuable for managing customer data, tracking those interactions, and really personalizing the experience.
And they can help automate tasks, streamline workflows, and give you all sorts of insights into customer behavior and preferences. I think it's worth getting familiar with these systems. They're becoming pretty standard across different industries.
It's not just about using the technology. It's about understanding how it's changing what customers expect. People are used to getting instant answers, having things personalized, and being able to reach companies 24/7.
Right. Customer service isn't just about phone calls and emails anymore. It's happening on social media, live chat, even messaging apps.
So you have to be adaptable, tech-savvy,
Right.
and able to handle all those different channels. RoleCatcher's resources are great for this. They really give you insights into how customer service is evolving and how to adapt to those changes.
Absolutely. It's all about staying ahead of the curve, embracing those new technologies, and always looking for ways to make the customer experience better.
Okay, so we've been on this journey, exploring not just the interview process, but the whole landscape of a customer service career. But before we wrap things up, what are your final thoughts on what it really takes to thrive in this field?
I think it comes down to a few things: skills, mindset, and a real passion for helping people. You have to be a problem solver, a communicator, an advocate for the customer, and someone who never stops learning. And it's also about embracing challenges as opportunities and finding fulfillment in knowing you're making a positive impact.
That's beautifully said, and I think RoleCatcher really gets that. They provide the tools and the resources to help people build successful and fulfilling careers in this field. Now let's take a moment to think about everything we've talked about, and then we'll come back for part 3, where we'll share some final tips for long-term success in this ever-changing world of customer service. All right, we've covered so much in our deep dives. We talked about nailing those interview questions, understanding those different career paths, and even how technology is changing everything. But now I want to focus on something that's really crucial for long-term success, and that's mindset.
Oh, you're so right. It's not just about having the skills, it's about having the right attitude. RoleCatcher really emphasizes qualities like empathy and patience and genuinely wanting to help people. You need to see yourself as a problem solver, as someone who advocates for the customer, someone who goes that extra mile.
Yeah, it's like you're shifting your perspective. It's not just processing transactions, it's building those relationships.
Exactly. Every interaction you have is a chance to build trust, maybe even turn a customer into a loyal fan.
And you're also representing the company's values, right?
Absolutely. It's about integrity, honesty, fairness, and always putting the customer first.
It really does make a difference. But let's be real. This field can be tough sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you stay resilient when you're dealing with those challenging situations?
Resilience is key. RoleCatcher talks about how there can be stress, especially with difficult customers, or just those high-pressure moments. They recommend having good coping mechanisms, ways to de-stress and recharge. It's okay to get frustrated sometimes. Everyone does. But the important thing is to have healthy outlets.
Yeah, you need that time to reset and come back refreshed.
And you can also learn from those challenging experiences.
Every difficult interaction can help you build those skills, those de-escalation skills, problem-solving skills.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to lean on your support system. You know, your colleagues, mentors, friends and family.
It's all about teamwork. Now let's go back to technology for a minute. RoleCatcher mentioned those CRM systems.
Yeah, those are becoming so important. They help you manage customer information, track your interactions, even personalize how you communicate.
So understanding those systems can really help you be more efficient.
For sure. And it's not just about using the technology itself. It's about knowing how it's changing what customers expect.
Like they're used to getting instant answers now.
Exactly.
So you have to be on top of your game.
RoleCatcher's resources are great for that. They can help you stay ahead of the curve.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away?
It's not just about prepping for an interview. It's about starting a journey that needs skills and the right mindset, and a commitment to always learning and being resilient and having that passion for creating great customer experiences.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way.
One last thought. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, thriving in your customer service career. What have you learned? What kind of impact are you making? Use that vision to keep you going and never stop growing.
That's a great way to put it. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We're so excited for you and for the positive impact you're going to make in the world of customer service.